So I think it's important to note that even with these changes, the noise restrictions in the downtown district would be less restrictive than in other areas of the city, which would reflect the general opinion that a higher level of noise downtown is generally acceptable. Again, the 100-foot plainly audible standard would prevail at all other times everywhere else in the city. It's also important, just before I wrap up, to note that the police department doesn't actively seek out violations of this ordinance, nor do officers plan to do so in the future. Police respond to complaints and work with violators to correct the situation before issuing charges if possible. The police department, I think Chief Layton would concur, would prefer to never have to use this ordinance to charge anyone. And it's certainly, we all believe that downtown Fredericksburg can remain a vibrant place with this ordinance in place. The EDA and Main Street have both endorsed these proposed changes in the past couple of weeks. Just in conclusions, businesses are simply asked to be respectful of their neighbors so that all can experience the delights of downtown Fredericksburg in harmony. And that's why we're calling it the Good Neighbor Ordinance. The ordinance would give police the ability to ensure that businesses, residents, and visitors are truly being good neighbors as it pertains to noise. I would invite Chief Layton to add anything that he might see fit, and we're both happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Bill. You did a great job. Just a few things to add. One, I love the name change because that's truly the spirit behind this ordinance adjustment. As I've explained to council before, right now there's a glitch in the ordinance, and that is that there is no noise level. There's no restriction on unlimited noise in our downtown right now between the hours of 7 a.m. and either 11 p.m. or 1 o'clock in the morning, the way the ordinance is written currently. And when your police department gets phone calls from neighbors in outlying areas of the defined downtown business district, we were having to tell them, sorry, there's nothing we can do, even though noise can be heard radiating 3, 4, sometimes 5 blocks from the source of the sound. So I went back in my notes, and I've been working on this since November of 2019. So it's going back a ways. I had a lot of conversations, brought it to council. A few months ago, we implemented more conversations. I'm glad we did that. Thank you for the advice there. We got great suggestions. And I think the ordinance that's before you is really solid. And I think it's something that that could take us well into the future. So thank you.
Councilor Devine.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thanks, Mr. Freeling and Chief Layton, for your work on this. I will support it. I wish it didn't have to come about. I truly hope that people see it as sort of the last straw, that, you know, being, if there's a complaint about noise or music, the police will work with people, but hopefully just asking businesses and residents to do the right thing would take care of the issue. You know, we are a small community. We all need to coexist. Any business or someone that feels they need to monopolize the nightlife, I think hurts all of us. So I will support this. I do appreciate the name change. It is about being a good neighbor, which we're all capable of. And again, it's not meant to be a gotcha. It's not going to dampen the nightlife. It is just going to add one more layer, like one more tool in the toolbox if there is an issue that cannot be handled by a discussion. So thank you.
Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Bill, when we and the mayor met with some of the businesses at City Hall, you know, part of the discussion was if this is something that they had big issues with, then they needed to come back and tell us what they were willing to do. have we heard anything back from anybody as a result of that meeting?
We've, I mean, not a lot. It seems to me that there hasn't been as many issues over the past few weeks. Maybe the spirit of kind of neighborliness that we've tried to endorse and we has helped. We just talked about how sitting in a room and letting everyone air their grievances can be helpful. I think that was the case in this one. I haven't heard any specific proposals or counters to what's before you tonight. I haven't seen a lot of really social media chatter about this over the past few days. So to answer your question, I haven't really gotten a lot back.
Well, that would be the next question. Were there any other specific discussions with them when this was drafted? I know we went to the EDA. I know we went to Main Street, but did we go back to those businesses and saying, okay, this is now what we're looking at?
Again, we've been working with Main Street on that. I think that the businesses in question, we're generally in touch with them on a regular basis. I think they're aware of what the proposal is. I'm
going to support this because it's a first read, and we're going to be moving it forward. And we need to get. And I agree. I know there's some of us on council who really want to get this going, and I asked for some time, and you gave it to me, and I appreciate that. But I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks before this comes back that we could at least make another effort to reach out, and I'd be happy to participate in that just to explain what we're doing and what's going on and how this is going to work to them before we take the final vote. Again, for me, I know a lot of people downtown are not going to be happy with me for saying this, but for me, this is a process issue. If I'm going to pass something that's directly affecting a group of individuals, I want to make sure they're aware of how everything works. And I have nothing against Main Street in any way, shape, or form. And I noticed their vote was almost split on this. But I do like to talk to the people that are directly affected. And if it's possible within the next 2 weeks, we can at least have another sit down and give them an opportunity to respond. That would be great. Thank you.
I did attend that. I attend the Main Street meetings as a representative of the council. I did attend that meeting. And one of the things that, as a result of the meeting that Councilor Kelly and I attended with the larger group, was that Main Street was going to research ordinances in other places. And I've seen the results of that research. And interestingly enough, most towns like Alexandria, towns with very vibrant downtowns, have more restrictive ordinance than we do. This is lenient compared to many cities who have very vibrant downtowns. I just wanted to make that point. The discussion at Main Street was largely the concerns that were expressed were largely in respect to timing, and as the report in our packet tells us, the concern was timing. People are just coming out of COVID. Folks are just coming back downtown, although we've had a fairly strong presence downtown considering the restrictions of COVID. But that it's, the weather's warming up, people are getting vaccinated, and there was a concern, is this going to be a problem, particularly since it's new at this time? So that was what was expressed, in fairness to the varying points of view. But I will say that the results of that survey that Main Street did was very interesting. It was interesting to me that towns that we would consider having very healthy downtowns actually have stronger, more restrictive noise ordinances than this one that we are considering. Mr. Kelly?
Madam Mayor, I agree with you. I read them also. Again, I'm supporting this, but again, we got it. We looked at it. I did finally shoot it off to somebody who's been involved with the bands and everything else like that to hopefully help them understand that. But that would have been nice to have just a little bit of a conversation and say, guys, this is what we're looking at. It's a lot less restrictive. And then again, for me, this is more of a process issue. If I'm going to pass something to affect people on both sides, and I understand this, believe me, I've had a lot of people who have been waiting a long time for this, frankly, and I understand that. And again, I'm just saying there's a 2-week window between now and the final vote, and let's just take advantage of it, take the opportunity to say, this is where we're going, this is why we're going. Here's the examples of wherever else it's gone on at Alexandria or whatever, so they understand it. Again, nothing against Main Street, but they don't always necessarily communicate with everybody, because I can tell you in just brief conversations I've had with some of the people that were big involved on social media and everything else like that, they weren't quite aware of how far we've had taken this. That's all.